So, the essence of science is the scientific method, which was designed as a very systematic, trial and error approach to determine what's really real, and to overcome the inherent biases in human thinking in order to develop a maximally accurate understanding of reality, at least of that portion of reality which can be studied by science. And it's important to point out that certain topics are non-empirical, meaning they cannot be studied by science because the evidence for them, if there is evidence, is not physical, is not testable in the same sense that the laws of physics are, or even that the theory of evolution is. So these are things like belief in God, belief in the afterlife, and questions of ethics, which are better left to religion and philosophy. However, it can be argued that when you're addressing questions which can be resolved empirically, science is by far the best approach to answering those questions. It has proven itself again and again to be the most reliable and accurate means of discovering what the world is like. In many cases, science and religion conflict. Not always. That's important to point out, that sometimes this conflict is exaggerated. And the two are certainly not incompatible. And historically, most scientists have been religious. In the Western world, they've been Christian. Many contemporary scientists are religious, although on average, scientists are less religious than the American public in general. Problems occur, though, typically when religion strays into scientific territory and makes claims about the physical world, which contradict scientific findings. Perhaps the most famous example historically was when Galileo argued that the Earth goes around the Sun rather than vice versa, and was condemned by the Church for saying that. More recently, of course, the creation-evolution controversy has centered over the question of the origin of life. Another example to think about is that of the soul. Do humans possess souls? If so, what is the soul? For many religions, including Hinduism, as we'll discuss, and Christianity, the soul contains sort of the essence of the human identity, and it's what survives after we die. Now, from a scientific perspective, there's simply no evidence of a soul. That every time we've encountered, in an empirical sense, a mind, a human being, or the essence of a human being, it's been attached to a physical brain. And when the brain stops operating, as far as we can tell, people cease to exist. Now, there are some claims about near-death experiences and ghosts which would contradict this view, but I would argue, and most scientists would agree, that there's no credible evidence to support the claims made by proponents of those phenomena. So this is not to say that souls don't exist. They may very well exist. But the point being that as far as science is concerned, souls don't exist. And so if someone believes in souls, they need to rely on different sorts of evidence, whether that be revelation in the form of a scripture, personal experience, insight, etc. One interesting phenomenon when it comes to comparing religion and science is that religion tends to punish dissent, meaning that within a religion, when people don't agree with the majority and stay along the path of the party line, they're often punished, sometimes severely punished. In Christian history, the best example is the Inquisition. People were tortured and killed for not concurring with the Catholic Church. Despite this fact, though, religion is incredibly diverse. There are literally tens of thousands of religions, some of which we'll be talking about in this class, and many, many more if you look at the wide scope of history. In contrast, science actually rewards dissent. People who can prove that a dominant theory is wrong are regarded as geniuses. People like Einstein, and before him Newton, and Darwin, who through their insights and the evidence they gathered, they really kind of revolutionized the way that we understand the world. But despite the fact that science rewards dissent and rewards people who criticize the status quo, scientists tend to arrive at a consensus. They tend over time to agree with each other. The major difference being there's actual evidence that they can point to, which can be agreed upon and which is accessible to everyone, where in the case of religion, it's based much more upon faith and more on subjective factors, like personal